Welcome, Southern California. It's the coach with my voice. So honored that you take your time. Don't turn the channel because we're going to have a great show today. We're going to talk about robots. First segment, we're going to talk about virtual reality. Our show brought to you by I Need a Sales Rep. Remember that name, I Need a Sales Rep. For the second segment, or Block B, I'm going to talk about making money in this country and maybe one of the few professions left is sales. So if you're thinking about, not everybody wants to be a capitalist, not everybody wants to live in a great neighborhood or make a lot of money. I get that. I'm fine with that. But there's so many opportunities out there. Every business needs a salesperson. So I need a sales rep. I need a salesrep.com. All right. So I'm your coach, Coach Ron Tunick. Welcome to one of the best radio stations in all of America, KHTS 1220 AM. And I say that because KHTS leads the digital world. They, if you've not signed up, they have a great app. Go to the App Store and just put in KHTS and AM 1220 will pop up. But they have like SIG alerts. They have all kinds of great stuff. Every night about 4:30 to 5:15, I get a news brief. And I don't even need to read the newspaper anymore because you get it all from KHTS. They have a whole staff that's out there in the community working on news brief, news information, what's going on in Santa Clarita, what's going on in Southern California for our listeners. Okay, welcome to the show I call The Business of Life. And I've got a very special friend, Rich Samuels, with me today. Maybe, I'm just saying maybe, one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet here in Southern California. The second segment, we're also going to talk about his books, My Life at the Bottom of the Food Chain. I love that book. About bullying. It tells a story about Alexander and his adventure. So we'll get into it. But, Rich, welcome to KHTS 1220 AM. Nice to have you back, pal. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
So virtual reality. So I've been on the air now 15 plus years, and I'd say 12 years ago, I started talking about robots, not virtual reality, but robots. And now they're here. Robots are here. They're in the medical industry. Each one of us is going to have a little robot. They're predicting by 2020, which is 4 years from now, a lot of us I'll have a little, I already have a name picked out, Duke. Get my little robot, Well, so when we meet for coffee in the morning, I say, Duke, go give me some tea. But today, let's talk about virtual reality. First of all, if you had a pie and it represented 100%, maybe I know a half of 1% of what the heck it is. What is virtual reality?
Well, virtual reality is, let's compare it to traditional media. Traditional media you'll watch on a screen. It's just a rectangle and nothing. You don't see anything outside of that rectangle unless you're playing a game, and then you move the camera direction basically. Virtual reality is an opportunity to put on a pair of goggles, to look over your shoulder, to look around. It's a form of media that is immersive rather than basically passive.
It's like live three-dimensional, right? I mean,
right.
In football, quarterbacks now are putting it on so that these apps show players charging at them, and so it's like you're in game conditions, and now the quarterback can improve his timing, his leg work, his footwork, but it trains his brain to think differently.
Exactly. I mean, it has so many advantages. It's not the same. It shouldn't be looked at a form of. It's not a form of entertainment like anything you've seen before.
But it probably will be, right? I mean, I'm sure there's guys working on virtual reality for entertainment, movies.
I'm saying, but it won't be. It's nothing. I think the mistake people make is to think that it's just another platform to show a film, for example. The experience of virtual reality is completely distinct from passively watching a film.
Right.
It's more, at its best, it's an experience. And that could be anything from flying on Apollo 11 to the moon, in which you're sitting in the capsule, in which you're walking on the moon, and you can look over your shoulder, and there's the Earth behind you.
God, I wish I was creative enough to create these apps. I mean, there's smart kids out there, probably 16, 18, 20 years old, working on stuff right now where literally you could take a virtual vacation, or prior to going on vacation, take a 10-minute view of your hotel room. They have that stuff now. I've seen hotel rooms.
Absolutely.
But all the things that you may be doing on vacation, right, before you even get there.
Or go on vacation back in time. There are many apps that allow you to run with dinosaurs, for example. Or in terms of education, the time will come soon where a teacher will be able to take their students on a walk through the
Gettysburg Address.
The Gettysburg Address or the Roman Colosseum where gladiators are fighting and people are, cheering around you. And, in terms of education, experiencing something is going to be a lot more, effective than simply listening to a lecture.
I love it from an educational point of view. I could see where now the students are really going to get involved in the process of learning and gain knowledge because, whether we like it or not, this is where the kids are. They're living on their smartphones, and it's very visual to most people. Most people learn through watching something or hearing something. So now you have both, right?
Right. I mean, in virtual reality, you were in an experience. Now, right now we're in the infancy of virtual reality.
Darn it!
I mean, there are games that are going to be coming out now, and that are coming out this fall when PlayStation has its own virtual reality, and those are going to be at the cutting edge.
Right.
But for filmmakers, the whole grammar of filmmaking for virtual reality is being invented as we speak.
Hurry.
Yeah. And there's a question of, to what extent is it effective? I mean, there is a number of experiences I've seen, and they're all short experiences, in which there was a particular video called Kia, in which we, using a actual 911 call, we experience a domestic violence situation. And they've recreated using a video game engine, actually. So it's not like real, but it feels animated, but you're life size with these characters, and they're recreating this domestic violence situation. You're standing in this house, and someone has a gun, and he's not letting his girlfriend leave. It's all based on a real situation, which is very effective and very disturbing. But for me, there was one thing that was missing, is that you're standing there in the midst of all this, and you can't do anything about it. It's the idea of creating a situation this is done for one purpose, but if you're creating a training situation, it would be interesting to create an interactive environment in which you're able to try different strategies in terms of diffusing the situation.
Wow, it's so exciting. We're talking to Rich Salmon. He's an author and a friend, and we're talking about virtual reality, which is really going to be the future, I think, of how we're going to be educated, how we're going to be entertained, how we're going to be trained. I mean, you just talked about it. You could see every police department, every fire department, every paramedic, anybody involved in situations where they have to be trained on how to react without thinking about it is going to be an important part of our future. There's no question about it. You listen to KHTS AM 1220. The show is called The Business Life. I'm your coach, Coach Ron Tunick. So when we look at virtual reality, do you think that we're 2 years away, 3 years away from everybody having all kinds of apps? Where's the growth of this industry coming from?
Well, that's the big question. I mean, some of the predictions, the pie in the sky description predictions have it being a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Oh yeah.
Now, right now, you can get goggles that are cardboard for practically nothing, for $1 or $2.
And you gave me a pair.
Right,
and they're pretty effective too.
Absolutely. I mean, they're and then that's at the real base level. Now, if you're on Facebook. You've seen the 360 videos that are popping up in which you're able to look around, and often that's based on the same technology. So you can look at it. It's not quite virtual reality, but you're able to see your environment in the same way. But the most advanced virtual reality goggles that are now available to the public, well, they can put you back a couple $1,000s to get into it. So I don't think those are going to take off with the general public quickly. I think the PlayStation VR and that level of virtual reality will probably take off sooner because it's a lot cheaper.
What companies is Apple getting into this?
The story is that Apple is looking into it. I don't know any details about that, as Apple typically doesn't let that kind of information out. Samsung is heavily involved. They've worked with, I believe it's Oculus, to create something to work with their Gear phones and tablets. And there's a company called HTC Vive. So there's a number of companies that are diving into it and looking for ways to make it workable and make it profitable. So, there's a lot going on.
And a local company called Outlier Technologies. Hopefully, you'll come back in 2 or 3 weeks. We'll try to have them on because really, here's an opportunity for employment. Here's an opportunity for creativity. Here's a great opportunity for young people to get involved in an industry that who knows where it's going to go. But, like you said before we get on the air, you could take a trip to the moon, right?
Right. Right. Computer graphics, the Apollo 11 experience, which is now out for the Oculus and it'll be out for the PlayStation, allows you to experience using some film, some computer graphics, actual audio from the mission, and discover what it was like to see a Saturn V take off or to walk on the moon.
Right.
So
this Outlier Technology is announcing its, how do you pronounce this, Artivis platform today, which enables the creation of interactive ads in virtual reality. The ad technology enables the development and distribution of fully interactive 360-degree advertising. So for those of us that are forced to watch advertising, which I love, right, my wife won't watch it. She VCRs everything. Right. She won't watch it, but I do. I'm in the advertising business. I've got to watch it. Our show brought to you. Look, if you need a job, you want to make money, sales is the industry. I need a sales rep. Their phone number is 805-358-6090. If you want to get into sales, they'll train you. 805-358-6090. Did I say that too fast? If you want to get into sales, they will train you. 805 area code 358-6090. There's money in sales. Okay, so we're talking about virtual reality. My wonderful pal and guest today on KHTS, Rich Samuels. So I see education as being very, very interesting and provocative and enlightening and innovative for the student. In the NFL, quarterbacks are experimenting with it right now, but you're right, that technology is very expensive.
Right.
I see the auto industry. You and I need to figure out how to get involved in this. Somehow,
Absolutely.
You and I need to figure this out because my wife will not go onto a car lot. So I have to go buy the car for them. But I could see virtual reality when it comes to test driving a car, right?
Sure.
Especially all the little perks that are in a car today. What other industry do you think? Education, entertainment, auto industry, maybe medical?
Definitely medical. In fact, I saw an app today that a training experience in which you're faced with someone who came in from an accident, and it's all digital.
Yeah.
And it asks you to make a decision. And what do you do with this person? What position do you put them in? What's the first thing you do? So it tests you on your knowledge of how to act in an emergency room. So
eventually, almost every industry, manufacturing, right? I mean, it's endless as to where this thing's going to go. You and I need to somehow get on this gravy train. Well, this is going to be a gravy train.
Oh, it's going to explode. It's already starting to, and it's like I said, I've been going to the virtual reality expo.
Where is it?
At the convention center every 6 months.
I need to go.
And it multiplies in size every 6 months.
We're going together. When's the next one?
In August.
Okay, we're going.
Absolutely.
We're going. Now, talk to me about apps. So you download the app, right?
Right. Well, in the case of the Google Cardboard, that allows you to look at some virtual reality apps that are downloadable on either iPhones.
So what did you type in? Virtual reality apps? Is that...
You could look for virtual reality, or you could look for Google Cardboard, and these are available. These are the base virtual reality. I mean, the
game apps.
The more expensive goggles that you can buy for several $100s are more sophisticated in what they can do. But these are mind blowing. and most of them are free. You download them, you look at them on your Google Cardboard, and you can experience everything from running with dinosaurs to standing on. There was another one where you're standing on the stage with Paul McCartney as he performs in front of an audience.
Oh my goodness!
Which is interesting, but it's somewhat limited in that after a while you just feel awkward. There's only so much you can do standing on a stage looking at.
Can I be on the stage with the Eagles? I want to be on the stage with the Eagles. Although the Eagles are probably done.
There.
Yeah, the Eagles are probably broken up.
Yeah.
Elvis is coming back. I heard a rumor the other day that so this you might be on the stage with Elvis. You know.
Sure, they could create a virtual. That wouldn't be beyond the realm. They could create a virtual Elvis.
Now, have you done any homework on where I could buy some goggles? Right, I'm into this thing. I'm all in.
Well, I mean, if you want to get the cardboard goggles,
I have them. You gave me a pair.
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon. You just search Google Cardboard. The other ones are also available. You can go online. Oculus, I believe, is available now. I think HTC Vive, just came out. Now they're going to set you back. The Oculus Rift is, I think, about $600, but then you need a computer that can handle.
Oh, got it. Okay.
The power that those goggles can take.
Right.
The same thing with the HTC Vive, which is $800, and then you also need a high-end PC.
So I'm not there yet.
But Samsung has something that is in between the Google Cardboard and these other systems, and that's only $100. So there's all kinds of possibilities in terms of getting into it. Now, what's exciting is that, in terms of shooting virtual reality, there are some very simple cameras. If somebody wants to experiment with it, they can spend $350. They can buy.
You don't need a special like an HD camera.
Yeah, you do need special cameras, but there's a whole range of cameras, ranging from something called the Ricoh Theta S digital camera, which is actually looks like a remote control with a camera on both sides of it. And what it does is two cameras that do 180 degrees, and together they're 360. So you can shoot. It's not high resolution, but it's enough for you to create video or photos and share them or cut them on your editing system and create an experiment with virtual reality and what it means before you start spending a lot more money. Because you could spend thousands to tens of thousands to get a professional level virtual reality rig.
All right, you're listening to KHTS. Rich Samuels is my very special guest on the show we call The Business Life, talking about virtual reality. And I'm telling you what, in 4 or 5 years, this is how we're going to learn. This is how we're going to be entertained. This is how we're, if we think the Apple smartphone or Samsung smartphone, look out, right? I mean, this will be like the dial telephone in probably 3 or 4 years, right? We'll have some other kind of an instrument,
sure,
to be able to handle all. Well,
the prices will go down, the power will go up as it does with all technology.
I love it. Theta S digital camera. I see that $346.
Right.
Where'd you pull this up? Oh, Amazon.
That's Amazon. I mean,
are you worried that there's only going to be like 3 stores left in 10 years? Amazon, Costco, and who else? Walmart? Is that
I don't know if Costco. I mean, I think a lot of it is. Well, it's all moving online.
No, I know it's another show, but I mean, really, how are we going to compete? Anyway, I haven't answered that. Get into sales. I need a salesrep.com. Call them. They'll train you. That's where the money is. It's in sales. 805. Write this number down. We'll be right back. 805-358-6090. When we come back, I'm going to talk to Rich about the books that he wrote. Very interesting subject that affects all of us. The subject, you have to wait till you come back.